long he chooses.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to my colleagues on the committee. Thank you to our witnesses. I never expected today to be quite as emotional for me as it has been. I've talked to a number of you and gotten to know you. I think it's important to tell you right now, though. You guys may, individually feel a little broken. You guys all talk about the effects you have to deal with, and, you talk about the impact of that day. But you guys won. You guys held. Democracies are not defined by our bad days. We're defined by how we come back from bad days. How we take accountability.
Many months later.
In 2009, I returned from Iraq and made a decision that ran in the face of all odds and sanity. I would challenge an incumbent in a seemingly unwinnable race for Congress. At that time, I was spurred to run by my conviction of our role in the world. Somehow I won, and I'll never forget that campaign, the excitement of election night and a new majority, and those supporters who reminded me to be my own man and to never do what they tell you to do, but do what's right. I stand tall and proud knowing that I have done just that. I also remember during that campaign saying that if I ever thought it was time to move on from Congress, I would. And that time is now.
Woo! Boy, that is crying Adam Kinzinger announcing that he is going to retire. He is quitting. He is hanging up the boots, right, from Congress, and he is not going to run for re-election in 2022. Right now, this comes as essentially the Democrats, rumor has it, they were going to redraw his district to the point where dude was basically going to get redrawn out of Congress anyways, right? He was going to run, or his district was going to turn into a heavily blue district that would have made it damn near impossible for him to actually win anyways. But man, I mean, that was just news that the man was fundraising 3 days ago. So if you knew that you was going to retire and that you wasn't going to rerun again, why the hell are you fundraising, right? What are you raising money for? But this really isn't all that surprising, guys, as there are, a few GOP members of Congress who have been critics of Trump that are either quitting or are deciding to retire, right? I think that this guy right here, Adam Kinzinger, is doing both, right? He's doing both. Now, here's my thing. I don't really have all that much to say about this, but I do want to say this, right? Because I think there's this perception out here that in the Republican Party, you can't say anything bad about Trump. And I want to address that because, again, that is the perception here, right? That these people are being driven out of the party simply because they are critical of Trump. Here's the thing. I don't care if you are critical of Trump, right? I don't care, right? I mean, you have your freedom of speech. You can do that. But my problem with people like Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney is not their criticism of Trump per se. My problem is that their criticisms, and when they speak out about things, it doesn't have anything to do with actual policy, right? It has nothing to do with policy. If you're critical on Trump when it comes to policy stuff, I think that's fair game, right? I think that's fine. I don't have an issue with that because that's how politics is supposed to work, right? We can't agree 100% on everything. And honestly, I don't think that the base agrees 100% with Trump on things, right? Like, for example, yesterday when I was talking about the whole border thing and the reparations that's being given to the illegal immigrants for being separated at the border, I said, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with Trump's policy, of separating families at the border, right? I don't think that's necessarily right, but I understand why he, had strict immigration policies to disincentivize people from coming, right? My criticism has nothing to do with him as a person. It just simply has to do with policies. That's fair game. I also think there's other issues that some people in the base and conservatives, again, may disagree with Trump when it comes to policy, such as, for example, last year when we did all this spending, right, during the pandemic. Now, I thought at the time, me personally, I thought it was necessary, okay, considering the position that we was in, but some people were critical of that, right? Some people are also critical of Trump, they felt like he didn't do enough when it came to combating the lockdown policies that were going on in some states. Some people felt like he didn't do enough when it came to that. But again, those are policy criticisms that are fair game that I haven't seen many people have issues with when people criticize Trump over policy. But that's not what these people are about. They're attacking him as a person, and their criticisms have literally nothing to do with policies. Nothing to do with policies whatsoever. If your whole thing is, well, I'm just anti-Trump, I don't like Trump, he's a bad guy, he's a mean guy, he's somebody I can't really get behind, blah, blah, blah. And none of that has to do with policy, right? There's no policy substance there. To me, it makes you no different than the Democrats, right? And the things that they say about Trump, right? Or the left-wing liberal media. Because it's like, bruh, people that, support Trump or continue to support Trump or whatever, they already know all that stuff, right? They already know the things that you're saying. And again, that is my biggest problem with these people that have come out and been so anti-Trump, is that all of their criticisms, none of them have to do with policies. And I think that that's the actual issue here. Because people like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, they're neocon conservatives. They're conservatives from the Bush era, right, that are basically living in the Stone Ages when it comes to, I think, where the Republican Party in the base is actually at in 2021. And I think that's part of the reason why these guys are so unpopular and that they're basically being forced out of the party, is because they have nothing else outside of, well, I hate Trump, right? Adam Kinzinger not once has said anything about his policy positions. Why is it that people should listen to you, right, and support your movement over Trump? Trump, at least when he ran, right, he ran on policies, right, on elements that were plaguing America, that were plaguing rural and middle America, that a lot of people resonated with, right? When he talked about jobs being shipped overseas, when he talked about ending the wars that people like Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney support, that's something that people resonated with, right? When Trump talks about immigration, that's something that people resonate with. When you lead with policy, people resonate with that stuff because that's what they care about. And in my opinion, these conservatives, if they were smart, they would lead with education. I think that's the new rallying cry of the base that a lot of people want to hear about. They want to hear about what are your positions on education and school choice. Smart Republicans like Glenn Youngkin are leading with that. I mean, there's a surprise poll that came out that's showing the dude is just flat out beating Terry McAuliffe now, right? I think that's like the first poll that I've seen in which the dude is winning, right? Because policy works. When you come out here and you lead with Trump, 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 right? People are going to tune you out. And again, that is my issue with people like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. I don't care if you're not pro-Trump, right? That ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't care about that. What I care about, what is your policy? What makes you better than him, right? But they failed to articulate that. They have not articulated that because they don't have anything. They have nothing. They have nothing. So again, this dude, again, he's so unsure of himself. He's so lacking substance that instead of staying in a race and competing against the Democrats, right? Because your policies, what you want for this country is supposed to be better, right? Instead of competing, he decides, I'm going to quit, right? I'm going to quit. Not even going to try. Again, because he doesn't stand for anything. You don't stand for anything except being against Trump. And that just is not going to work. I think, again, got to bring up Glenn Youngkin here because he is a case study in this, especially if he wins Virginia. Again, the dude is led with policies, right? He has not led with, I love Trump or I'm against Trump. He hasn't led with any. He's barely talked about Trump, right? Trump has barely been a factor. But yet he's still been able to rally the base there and to get people out to vote because he's led on an actual policy position. So again, man, I hope that some of these Republicans, man, they take notes on what is working and what's not working. What is not working is only thing we stand for is, well, we don't like Trump. What would work is, hey, regardless of your opinion on Trump, these are my policies. This is how I'm going to make this country better for you. This is why you should vote for me. That is what works, right? And I hope these people learn this lesson. Okay, I hope they learn this lesson. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.